Good morning. It is the 5th of August, and we are looking at chapter 15 of Proverbs, starting at verse 13. So let's get into it. A happy heart makes the face cheerful, but heartache crushes the spirit. Put on a happy face. So a happy heart makes the face cheerful, right? Well, you can see externally the signs of a person who is happy, of a person who has joy, and they share it. One of the great things about having a community, a family, a church, is that in times of happiness, we can share it. We can be glad together. We can get together and celebrate with one another. So I was just outside talking with a couple of members, and we were happy, and it was great. We could see it on our faces. This time of mask, sometimes it's harder to see it on the face because you can't see the mouth, right? You can't see how happy someone is. It disconnects us. But when you seek after those things of God, sometimes and often, He does bless you. You do have times of tragedy and sorrow. There is a time for everything, as we find in another writing by Solomon. But God will give times of joy. And we express them through our expression, through our joie, is that it? I don't know, the French. Through our zest of life. But when tragedy happens, the person who goes through tragedy loses energy, loses that ability to be outgoing. And so we shouldn't be surprised. We should understand that that's going to occur. And sometimes just be supportive. Not even necessarily do anything, but be there for those who go through tragedy. You see someone who's looking miserable, who's not normally miserable. Maybe it's time to say, hey, I'd like to hear what's going on. Could you want to talk to me? Give them a chance to speak. Let's go to 14. The discerning heart, that is one which discerns good from evil, one which knows the wisdom of God. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So when we know the revelation of God and how to know what is good and know what is evil, then we discern. So the discerning heart seeks knowledge. Recently, someone posted that in this situation of medical various information being put out there, we need to be discerning. We need to find different information. There's plenty of information, but we need to find good information and make concerning and discern what's true or not. And so it says here, those who are of God, they do seek that knowledge. We want to know if my action is going to have a good reaction or if it's going to have bad effects. So we seek out the knowledge to control what we do in the world and to understand under God's plan how to act in the world. But the mouth of a fool feeds on folly. With the internet today, this is easy. We talk about conspiracy theorists, and we kind of, those people. Well, they feed on this. It's just almost a continuous, it's almost like a fire hose of bad information and of speculation. And it does not lead to having good relationships with other people. And we're going to have this person is going to seek after my destruction, and I don't know, the New World Order and the Illuminati. But it's almost like they have to come to it, like at lunch, supper, and dinner. They've got to seek out the conspiracy theories, and they've got to find more, and they've got to get all the books, and they've got to hear all the shows. Well, that's an empty food. It's going to lead to death. So the fool, those who go on a path to death, they feed on all this information continuously. And with the internet, it's really easy to do. 15. All the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. So the oppressed certainly have a lot of talk about slavery, and slavery in the United States, that was horrible and oppressive. And their days were wretched. And yet, in the midst of that, you have Swing low, sweet chariot. Even in the midst of slavery, in the midst of oppression, they can find joy in the Lord. Amazing thing of those spirituals. How in the worst of time, there they were with a cheerful heart, not a heart that saw their life as good and not wretched, but a heart which saw that God was good, and ultimately their life was not wretched. And so even in the midst of the worst of times, you have these beautiful hymns. I gotta, coming out of that time, flowing from the heart, allowing people to see their Savior and that their Savior is good, despite the sin that they caused, that we caused, the sin that all sinners caused, which caused the world to be so wretched. So we want to do the same. Not see ourselves as oppressed, but see ourselves as freed. Find joy in COVID, joy during riots, and be those who can sing great spirituals, at even the worst time. 16. Better a little with the fear of the Lord than great wealth with turmoil. Okay, I'm glad I'm living in Corder, Missouri, with the fear of the Lord around me, rather than living in downtown New York or downtown Portland or Seattle. Seattle, great wealth, obviously. Microsoft, Portland, similarly, where there's turmoil and chaos. Okay, the fear of the Lord, a nice quiet life on a little farm, these are beautiful things. And they're much better than, you get thrown into the Trump extravaganza. I would not want to be part of Trump's family. And the turmoil which goes around that situation. 17. Better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fatted calf with hatred. Oh, I don't know. This is going right to the heart of me. Vegetables? I want meat. But it is true. You sit down at the table with people who love you, and that is good, even if the food isn't all that great. It's better to be with those who love you. And if you're sitting down and everyone's hating each other and it's just sniping and turmoil, doesn't matter how good the food is, you're not going to enjoy it. This applies to all things in life, right? Not just meals. So if I can be at a congregation where everybody's getting along as a pastor, maybe I don't get paid as much. Hey, that's fine. But when you're in a congregation where they're all butting heads and causing problems, not good. Politically, you could do the same. Love and wanting to treat each other in a way which is in the interest of the other, that makes all things you do in life much more enjoyable. All right, next video.